Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to the desk for EU Day 1 continuation. We just saw the world champions Pantera take on Torpedo. Allied will be joining me for the next game of today. And you went to Brazil.
I actually didn't.
You didn't go.
Zatman did, but
He also went to Worlds.
Yeah,
Did you go to Worlds?
I did.
Officially?
No, not officially.
Just like
Kinda
Zatman.
snuck in.
It's
yeah.
fine. Back to EU, though. We're going to be seeing Hungry for More up against Team Leftovers. Both these two teams newly formed this season. Members from both these rosters you would have seen before and heard of, but they do have some new talent on the lineup as well, especially Leftovers here. They're going to be playing Nika in the solo lane and Arkkyl. Do you know anything about those players?
So when we talk about Arkkyl, I've heard a lot of stories of him being kind of the ranked monster on the rise.
Mhm.
As most fresh faces, whether it be in NA or EU, you usually just kind of come from ranked. It's very unlikely that they're just kind of like, oh, we found this guy in casuals. No,
Yep.
they're probably like dominating the ladder. So, yeah, I've heard some good stuff about Arkkyl. And really, the biggest story about this is how him and young Badgah do in the dual lane. So when we talk about Badgah, obviously Fnatic support.
Yep. Long time.
He's able to trust him enough to be his hunter, right? So he's always he probably saw something good in him, right?
It must be something good for the team of Leftovers. They're not expected to do very well this season, though. This first game of the season for them, they're up against Hungry for More. And Hungry for More, well, this is one of the rosters that when you look at it on paper, it sounds good. But then the past histories of some of these players, they've not performed to the standard that people expected them to or think that they could still have things to work on. You've got Variety, CaptainTwig as well, another member. And then you've also got the duo lane.
Yeah, the quote-unquote brother dual lane. So we have Ataraxia. We do have Zindurn, and
The brothers, right?
really, so Zindurn hasn't really had a time to shine, and it's rough with them. The same thing with CaptainTwig. He's had his on and off games. We've never really heard too much about Variety on Dig, so he hasn't really had too much of a time to shine. It's always been more of a negative limelight, but hopefully they are actually hungry for more, and they can show themselves as we go into this game.
Let's go into picks and bans then and talk all about what's going to happen here. So first of all, Hungry for More. For the lineup for you guys at home that are not sure, Variety joined them from Dignitas in the solo lane. CaptainTwig will be in the jungle. He used to be on Fnatic. PrettyPriMe and PrettyPriMe and Ataraxia, they used to be on Titan, now made this team and brought on Zindurn as their support player. So the most untested SPL player on this side of Hungry for More here is going to be Zindurn. He's flitted with competitive play a little bit.
He's been a challenger,
but he's not really hit the main stage.
Yeah, he's been a Challenger Cup monster, and really he cannot quite make that entry break. Really, with the help of Hungry for More, now they finally have his chance to shine. But really, the biggest thing here is we get to see if Hungry for More are actually Hungry for More as they challenge the Leftovers.
The Leftovers, what great team names to start the day off with between these two. Leftovers, though, for you guys at home that are not aware, Nika will be in the solo lane, a new rookie addition. Jungler, also known as Phaelus, previously will be in the jungle for them. They've got Cherryo in the mid lane, who was on London Conspiracy last year, as well as Arkkyl and Badgah, which we spoke about, making up the duo lane. But the picks and bans are already underway. Ra was banned out early by Hungry for More.
Yeah, this is very obviously a target ban, whether it be soul lane, mid lane, yeah, Cherryo had a good outbreak during the relegations with Ra. I don't know how much value it has, honestly, going into these games. It could have completely switched by now, but Raijin,
locked in. How do you feel about Raijin this season?
I think he's very strong. I don't know how much I would value him on the first pick. We'll see as Hungry for More, they do end up first picking before anything else.
How'd you deal with a Raijin in the game? What would you be looking to do? You know,
just picks. I feel like just pressure on him. Yeah, poking. Anything like Isis could be very effective against him. Janus could be very annoying for him to deal with. The biggest thing is that he has a lot of burst damage, insane amount of CC in his ult if he decides to use it, and he could full clear the wave. So that instantly makes him viable in the mid lane.
Okay, well, first of all, you mentioned Isis still not locked in for either team yet, as Leftovers chose their duo lane compatriots here, more than likely, for, as you called them, Badgah and Arkkyl. We're going to see picking up Hoagie and Athena.
Yeah, and I did lots of aggression. Not the best push lane, however, transitioning to mid to late game, lots of global presence. The team fight potential of Hoagie stuns is more than enough to help the Leftovers. Hopefully, see if they can earn this victory.
Well, Batz and Sol locked in for Hungry for More there, so a very good composition for AoE and team fights there from that team. Leftovers, though, they've gone for the mobility option here with the Janus. They've got Janus with the map-wide transitions with through space and time, as well as Athena with that global ultimate.
Yeah, global boys.
Global boys.
Just being able to get across the map,
Would
in
you
a
look
little
at
to no
a
time.
Thor ban here if you're hungry for more, just to make sure leftovers don't get Thor as well and have this whole global
I
competition?
mean, I respect the Amaterasu was banned away here. We have the Guan Yu, which I think the Guan Yu's fine. Maybe the Amy a little bit too much. But notice how these two warriors are not so much these are laning phase bans.
Mhm.
These are initiation team fight
fights.
sustain bans that you want to take away. The AoE movement speed. Hungry for More seems to want to limit that on top of the Guan Yu initiation and sustain. We're just going to limit their team fight potential as Nezha gets picked in 4th for the
Nezha
leftovers.
does get locked in. Nezha, pretty good wave clear as well in the early stages, especially when you're going to be holding around that mid lane early. He's one of the junglers that I'd say has the easiest way of helping clear the wave without getting himself in danger for the most part.
He's fairly safe if you know you play around the ring toss, and could be used to set up with a single target lockdown. Can pick off a squishy target and Xing 10.
Xing 10, what do you think?
Ooh,
You're putting
I
a
feel
face
like
at me right now.
yeah,
You
I
can't
feel
see it,
like
can you?
I hit Hindu with the dance game because really the biggest thing about Xing 10 is they've really like the transition from season 2 to season 3 has kind of hurt him.
Is it the root
most.
more than anything else that been taken away that seems to have hurt him?
Season 3 is definitely more based on early game, so that hurts him because his early game's already just bad tier. And the root, really, like the transition from root to a slow, especially with Wingblade being so common now as an item pickup, immunity to slows and extra movement speed, it hurts him.
Do you not think, though, that Xing 10 in this situation is not that bad? I mean, they're against Hou Yi and Athena in lane, so they're not the best wave clear there, and you've got to solve for the support of the wave clear anyway. So Xing 10's early game, which is where you said he's going to struggle, he's going to be able to get through it easier.
Carried by Ataraxia and Soul here.
In the early
and
stage.
They must be valuing Zindurn's mid to late game team fight potential. So obviously the ult's still good for setup, which is why we see Zindurn here with the early Blink Relic. They must value his initiation with Xing 10, and also when you do have some items online, he does quite a bit of poke damage. It's not he won't be topping damage charts with a support build, but he'll be up there.
Well, straight away, just looking through the builds at the beginning of this game, as Hungry for More will be playing from the bottom side. We can see the Zindurn gone for the blink on that Xing 10. Meanwhile, Shell online for Badgah early on in the support role. In terms of itemization of relics elsewhere, everyone's pretty much standard. Purification for everybody. Teleporters for the solo lanes. We're not going to see any power pots at the moment as well, I do not believe. No, both junglers going to go for boots and potions.
Yeah, and especially with the first game, the first week, you're kind of testing the waters. You want to see what everyone's been up to, whether or not you've been scrim partners with them. Anything can change in a moment's notice. That's the one thing I've learned from competitive play. So I like this. No power pots. We're farming out. We're going to test the waters, see what people go for, and see how people react as we go into the early game.
So start the game, leftovers will take the right-hand Harpies here to begin with and then transition to their blue buff, just using the fact they've got Nika and Bellona early, which can definitely put a little bit of pressure onto a tier Batz early on if they so wish. So taking control of those mid Harpies early means that whoever gets wave clear earlier will be fighting over those left-hand Harpies in mid overall.
I think PrettyPriMe, depending on how he clears the wave here, can set his CaptainTwig up for mid-left Harpies. It depends on how Cherryo and Phalos, I know they are very aggressive 2v2 as we see them
You saw the sash.
Yeah, like even though they missed there, just the fact that they threw it out ensure that they are going to be
Aggression in the duo lane there as the two compositions of Hunter and Support combining for the first time in the SPL this season, going at it. And at the moment, Hungry for More, they're taking the brunt of the damage, which you could potentially expect.
Yes. Yeah, it looks like right now everyone's kind of setting the tone. We have some slight aggression, aggressive portals, which is definitely very nice. And one thing about Cherryo transitioning from jungler to mid that a lot of people slept on, he understands what a jungler would like to go for, so he's being aggressive, setting up the jungler here. And really, even though jungler hasn't really done too much, he already has had a free early game, got mid Harpies, and he's going to be able to kind of farm out here at level 5 very easily.
Like you said, both sets of mid Harpies went the way of leftovers. They should hit 5 very, very quickly here, especially because the back Harpies on the right-hand side are available for them to take as well. With this push power, they're going to continue putting the pressure on to the mid and jungle of Hungry for More.
And look at this, CaptainTwig taking 2 portals in a row, getting manhandled in the mid lane, and Cherryo's doing an excellent job being able to land these portals. And when we say doing an excellent job landing these abilities, we got to remember he's from Egypt. The ping, regardless of European or NA, he's above 100 ping.
It's about 160 ping from what I understand from Cherryo plays on. So, and he wasn't sure whether he was going to play this season in the SPL whatsoever. He wasn't sure about just taking a break and being a coach. But in the end, he finds himself on this roster. As we tune in once again with the Hungry for More and leftovers duo lane compositions, they're going backwards and forwards in this lane, which is, to be fair, kind of expected if you overextend with the compositions you've got here.
Yeah, absolutely, and I feel like Cherryo's and Jungler have been playing this 2v2 excellent. Lots of aggression, setting the pace, and farming excellently as they do hit level 5 here.
You did say that Jungler actually in the mid lane hit level 5. They stole away the back harpies on the right-hand side of Hungry for More, so already small experience and goal advantage for them as the boars are available in the jungle for Hungry for More here. I'm not sure what they would do. Okay, so what you saw them do then, they were going for boars, and they immediately heard the call from the mid laners that they were rotating, so they backed off immediately. It looked like a very strange ring around the roses, but it made sense.
Yeah, communication really was a big thing there, and you could tell Leftovers call for the boar invade and Hungry for More call that they were being invaded on. Made a quick loop-de-loop, realized they can't defend because the wave was coming, had to go back to lane, gave up the boars, and that's huge, especially with these kind of invades. Janus, Nezha is not really a kill setup mid lane comp. You can go for just slight aggression, so what you want to do is portal or sash, bait some beads, get some slight poke in, and then look for aggressive invades on the enemy's jungle.
Will we see some invasion over these mid harpies? Well, it's a fight. We're going to see Nika rotate potentially around here as well. Portal lands onto CaptainTwig again. Eats a bit of unstable vortex damage. And it looks like that is going to actually go 1-for-1, I want to say, there between the two. Did it look 1-for-1?
So, yeah, surprised they didn't actually go for anything aggressive, maybe recognizing the Athena support could very easily ult in. But, yeah, the biggest thing that scares me, Cherryo is using his portals very aggressively, which is his only way out besides his ultimate. So, coming up, you'll start, hopefully, see him maybe tone it down a little bit. Yeah, because it's scary, especially as a Janus mid lane player. Like, the second you throw your portal out, that's like Humbat's, all right, I'm going to jump in now. He cannot get away, and he's going to be forced to use his ult or relic to survive.
Well, they were looking at those left-hand harpies, which are currently down here. You can see Twig positioned on the left-hand side here, looking to potentially jump over if he can see an opportunity. Those harpies still are going to spawn for a while, so they wasted a bit of time as Leftovers took their red buff already. Red buff still standing for Hungry for More, and Hungry for More are going to potentially fight into a 3v3 here against a red buff Janus, which they don't have. Blinking from Zindurn. There's the ultimate, going to throw Badgah into a bit of a problem as Nisha takes him to the sky as well. Zindurn's in a bit of trouble here, eating a lot of poke, has to dash away. Harpies go the way of Hungry for More. Our first little skirmish in this game.
The biggest thing about that was that they didn't really have enough burst damage to actually commit all the way, and they gave up a little bit of farm. So Hungry for More, not only they gambled the mid-left harpies, they delayed the red buff, they didn't get back harpies, they delayed a lot of farm there for a 50-50 kill chance. So no one had really any kind of power spikes. We didn't see the Warriors having 3 out of Batz. We have Raijin back for only Boots 1, which isn't a power spike by any means. So really, waste of ultimates.
Well, you mentioned about power spike. Cherryo just finished that Doom Orb. Now going to be able to start stacking in the mid lane. Went for the option of not the mobility, just get those stacks online early. So we'll see Janus like really come online a lot quicker because of this, as long as he stays safe.
Yeah, Cherryo's taking the gamble right now. We're going to rush to Doom Orb before mobility. We haven't seen much aggression out of CaptainTwig yet. PrettyPriMe really hasn't put any kind of pressure, so I'm going to take the gamble here, go for the Doom Orb before Boots, and we'll see what happens.
Now, we've talked a little bit before in the past about Doom Orb, and people have been saying that potentially Doom Orb's a very risky item to pick up in competitive play. How do you feel about it? How much do you reckon we're going to see this season?
Well, like, so it really depends on what kind of jungler you're against. Like, for example, if you're against Janus or Senpai, then, you know, your boy is going defensive item first. And here's an example of the aggression. CaptainTwig starting to turn up a little bit. And I dig it. Yeah, I definitely dig it. And
you didn't see that at home. He landed the monkey, waited for the portal to go through, and then jumped to the monkey and over and smash.
Yeah, and this is what you need to do, especially Humbatz in the Janus matchup. You got to wait for him to go through his portal, and you got to bop him. You got to put the pressure on. You see Cherryo has bagged. He's going to miss out most of this wave, and you just got to rinse, repeat until he has 0 farm. But like I was saying, if it's like something like Janus or Senpai, you're not going Doom Orb first.
Okay.
And you're definitely not getting away with it.
You're going Boots as quick as you can.
But it also depends on like what you see. So Cherryo probably recognized through early games, like, you know, CaptainTwig, you know, he ain't nothing. I'm gonna do more bit first, and we'll see what happens, because you can kind of tell off early game skirmishes whether or not you want to go for it or not.
Support builds coming through to Traveler's Shoes, I should say, sorry. Online for Zindurn here as, Jungler jumps through the pole in a bit of pressure here. And Jungler took a lot of poke damage there. Prime could look for an ultimate to try and find a pick, but chooses wisely not to. Those Harpies are split either way by the looks of it there, as the unstable Vortex came through from Cherryo at the end there to pick up one of them. At 6 minutes in, there's still no first blood, but there's been plenty of poke so far.
Yeah, Cherryo really getting cheeky with the poke here. The biggest thing was they try to be slick. Leftovers like, yeah, we're going to portal in jungler, look for any kind of engage, but Jungler just kind of went into almost his death as he took way too much damage, was forced out, but luckily enough he didn't have to blow anything relic or ultimate-wise.
Badgah missed that taunt there, and that's going to give an opportunity for Hungry for More here to look to invade the red buff. They'll know that taunt will be down for a while through space and time. Gets fired. Red buff did go down. Sash connects, though, onto Prime, who uses his crash to get away from danger, but it's not over yet. Has to use the drums of war, but he still gets annihilated by Cherryo. Fear No Evil goes off, hitting Zindurn into an awkward spot in the end as Twig jumps out. 2 quick kills for leftovers after an invasion from Hungry for More.
Yeah, the biggest thing there was positioning-wise, Hungry for More. Definitely misposition. I felt like PrettyPriMe was in the weirdest spot. I think he could have helped from over the wall, honestly, and like kept his positioning in an advantage.
A safer position.
Yeah, it was such a gamble there, especially with the global presence of leftovers. You have to always account for that. Athena could ult in any time. Neja can sash from a million miles away. Janus could ult in. Like, I'm not really trying to mess with that. Obviously, a big thing also is Nika with the teleport, or whether or not you know the solo laner can be teleporting over. It's a big factor in these invades.
Well, we're not spoken about the solo lane much so far in this game. Variety at the moment playing the tier, slowly working towards the breastplate of Valor to go with the Warrior Tabby. Meanwhile, Nika, new to the Pro League, so this is an interesting matchup. Variety, who's been had some troubles from most people feeling he's been underperforming, and Nika, new to the Pro League. This is an opportunity for both of these players to shine.
Well, by the looks of it, looking at gold, Variety up a little bit of gold seems to be okay. Especially a lot of people consider tier having a weaker early game compared to Bellona, especially with the Bluestone versus Death Soul.
And that's why I'm surprised by the tower damage that we've seen Variety get on here.
Yeah,
he's like half health already.
He's doing the stuff, he's doing the things, and it's looking good. So hopefully he can get to a healthy tier mid game. As
Good
tiers
poke onto jungler there, but a nice port from Cherryo will keep him away from too much danger there as they trade back a little bit. PrettyPriMe took that tumble at the beginning of the game, now got his boots online though. This Raijin, new to competitive play, people still trying to work around him in terms of compositions and how to play against him. But so far so good for leftovers with dealing with him so far.
Yeah, this Cherryo Janus play has been nothing but very hyper-aggressive, and he hasn't been punished much. As much as I do appreciate the aggressive portals with the unstable vortexes to poke everyone out, the biggest thing to know is that he hasn't been kind of turned on. And that's the scariest part, when you portal and use your only escape aggressively and you get turned on, it's like, ooh, it's scary.
What are you going to do? In the jungle, though, Badgah hanging around with jungler there, looking for an opportunity to potentially gank mid. They've been spotted, though, but they're going to taunt straight onto Zindurn. Ring toss connects, and Twig gets taken to the sky. His purification were on cooldown already. Snipes are going out. His Prime is zoning Cherryo from giving him an escape route. I love that call, but Cherryo picks up Twig, and now they're looking for a little bit more as Variety and Nika have both rotated to this fight. Nice little pick from the jungle.
Yeah, a great combination of things, and this is what the Doomworm is going to start paying off severely.
Wait, it really
Cherryo
is. Space of time. Gonna connect. Nope. Variety gonna juke that one out. Use Lawbringer to escape. Nika considering giving chase here. Has his ultimate available, but in mid lane, Prime under pressure has the purification away and uses Thunder Crash to escape. And now they're looking to bring down this tier 1 tower, but over comes Ataraxia with the support of Sol. There's not gonna be a whole lot he can do. Variety teleports back in, cleans up 1 kill on Nika with the Fearless combo working out nicely. Gonna push Arkkyl back, but the damage has really already been done as leftovers get that tower.
Yeah, that was huge. Really, the sudden mid lane siege, and a 10-minute tower is going to be huge for map control, as Goldfear hasn't really been looked at yet. So now leftovers have a great early game advantage, and they can set themselves for maybe a Goldfear.
Let's have a look at the graphs right now and just see how they've gone on so far in this game. Slowly but surely, we've seen leftovers take control of this game. And to be fair, it was from the outset they controlled the mid harpies. They looked for invasions. Yes, they lost that red buff at one point, but then that's when they picked up the kills anyway. They gave them a bigger lead.
The biggest thing is Jungler and Cherryo are very in sync compared to Twig and PrettyPriMe, and they've been getting a little bit more aggressive. They set the pace of the game, and they've been getting the upper hand against the Twig PrettyPriMe duo.
Talking about aggression, Variety was very deep under that tier 1 tower there. Didn't get punished too much as there was some minions over there. Gold Fury does stand with war control in favor of Hungry for More for the time being, as the pressure from mid subsides from Hungry for More. Now they're going to return back to farming in their lanes. Blue buff available for Twig to take down if he wants to and give it over to Variety, but instead he'll do backs and wait for his solo laner to join him, because you want to make sure the solo gets as much XP as possible.
Of course, you definitely don't ever want your solo lane to get behind his matchup, because that means everything. So Variety, he's doing a wonderful job of just kind of being a big nuisance, as all tiers are, and he has still 300 gold lead on the enemy laner of Nika.
Starting to reach those level 12s now, where the second relics will start coming online. Blink and teleport for Variety, standard sort of tier situation there. Nika, though, on that Bellona as we tune into the jungle. Twig forcing the purification, goes off with the Fear No Evil, throws out the monkey, but there's no follow-up from the team. That was more defensive than anything else.
Yeah, and really, just see CaptainTwig. He's been always on the back foot in each engagement. He has never been the one initiating. He's always been the one getting initiated on, and that's really hurting Hungry for More, as he hasn't been able to set anything up. He's falling severely behind on farm, and now because they forced his back and the Hummet's ult, leftovers are looking for the Gold Fury.
They saw those backs go through, they let Zindurn back to base, and when they saw that, they immediately went for the Gold Fury and secured it. Leftovers, just keeping an eye on where people are recalling. That's all it was.
It's really off the end of Cherryo and Jungler. The pressure, forcing relics in the mid lane, and they seem like really a step ahead of CaptainTwig and PrettyPriMe. And it's not like they're playing bad. They've just set the pace, they've set the tone, and there's no answer back coming out of Hungry for More.
And we were going through this game before we came on air as well, Alad. You said you'd heard of Jungler before, Fails? He's been around before?
So he's been around. I've spectated on scrims before, actually, with him, and he's a very talented jungler. He really, I feel like he's never really had a proper chance to shine, so I'm excited to see what he can do on the leftovers, because I definitely believe in his skill, especially after this game.
Well, that's what Badger's pretty much done here. He's put a team together that he believes they have the ability to do something with. He managed to get them into the Pro League, and now look at them. They're currently beating a team that, on paper, they shouldn't really be winning against right now.
Well, that's the thing with young Badgah, is he's been around for so long, he's able to spot out these talented teams, and he's always been the one to place himself among highly with these very talented players that may have not gotten the spotlight that they truly deserve.
Well, right now, PrettyPriMe in the mid lane. On that, Raijin has got the Doom Orb stacking going on now. 10 stacks on that so far. As we look at Hungry for More, looking to try and steal away this ball away from Nika and just keep the pressure on this, give Variety a bit more of a lead. You can see there's a bit of an experience gap already, about a level difference between the two. As left-hand side, aggression onto Ataraxia, who's had to use his ethereal form to try and get away, juking the best he can, but 4 members there. What can you do?
The power of Janus ult, the Athena ult was even better. Lots of global positioning. In fact, my bad, Young Badge didn't even need to use the Athena ult. It was just Janus. Cherryo really being heads up, making a heads up play. I love it.
Beautiful play from Leftovers there. They take the tier 1 tower. Meanwhile, right-hand side, Hungry for More with the support and the solo laner chasing down Nika, looking to try and force him all the way back. They're trying to find a kill. They're not going to. And CaptainTwig, well, he's gone to defend, and instead he's been annihilated by, once again, the combo of Jungler and Cherryo getting the win and a tier 2.
Yeah, I'm really not too sure what he was doing there by himself. You got to be extra careful, as it looks like he's been getting picked nonstop. I mean, his relic literally beats just came off cooldown, so automatically he should know that I have a high risk of getting CC chained here. I'm not even level 12, or I don't even have my second relic ready yet. Like, I don't know, CaptainTwig's been making not very good plays. I don't know.
He's been stuck in a rough position more than anything else, I agree. Back RP's getting taken down there. Golden X Space definitely in favor of Leftovers, as you saw. However, looking at Arkkyl here on this whole year. Now, talk to me about one thing about Hunter builds this season. We're seeing a lot of Transcendent, a lot of Assy. When do you pick up the Iqval? Do you pick Iqval against magical hunters, like mages? Do you do that? Or do you only pick Iqval if you're behind?
I wouldn't necessarily pick him an Iqval against magical. It can be good. The extra physical power is nice, because obviously with each auto attack you gain physical power, but the big thing that makes Iqval such a good 1v1 item against other hunters is you decrease the enemy's physical power with each auto attack you hit on them. Yes. So it's very important in that kind of regard, but in terms of going against magical, like for example, we have Arkkyl against Ataraxia. He doesn't exactly need, as we see, the Aussie.
4-man rotation for Variety, surrounded. Lawbringers away, still under pressure from Bellona. Turns the attention back and gets a good fillers off, but Arkkyl gets credit for the kill. The drums of war were activated by PrettyPriMe there and gets some good damage off to Nika and the whole team. Reinforcements from Hungry for More here as Zindurn goes in with the washing machine ultimate. He does manage to get credit for one as Arkkyl dived in very deep and he's now isolated from his team, looking for more kills. He's going to jump away, but only into the hands of Zindurn, and Twig still there with PrettyPriMe to secure.
That was huge for Hungry for More. Looks like Leftovers. They had like this whole early game lead. They had map control, and they kind of dropped the ball a little bit with that dive. I feel like they were maybe a little bit too excited, so hopefully they can recompose and set up for the next objective, which would be Gold Fury.
Well, right now, with that many dead, they can look to pressure mid here, Hungry for More, and potentially even this back up straight away. Cherryo gets poked out. Zindurn just on zone duty more than anything else there, doing what he needs to on the front line as the support for this season. They take the tier 1 tower. Do they look for a tier 2, though? Is this a little bit risky with no minions?
Yeah, it's definitely risky. Nika about to come online. He can very easily teleport as the teleport is out, and
Variety blinks in, though, looking for the pick on Cherryo on the backside. Can he actually find it? He will. Variety cleans up the kill. As on the front now, Nika's trying to deal with the 4 members of Hungry for More coming down the mid lane. Variety Lawbringer's back in, though, feeling himself. Twig with the fear. No weaver. Variety got tower aggro and allowed Twig to get the ultimate off and not get in trouble. The tier 2 under pressure, as now Badgah surrounded by 3 members of Hungry for More. PrettyPriMe on the backside, still pushing out that percussive storm as the tier 2 tower falls in mid. We've got an even game.
Yeah, great tier 2 dive, and Hungry for More would look like, I mean, really, they were so severely far behind in the early game. They were getting out-pressured. They lost their tier 2 very early, and now they turned this around, grabbed a tier 2 in response, and set themselves up very nicely for this goal fury.
Was this just that dive and variety on the tier 1 tower, right? That just caused the whole thing, right?
It's just trickling out of control, and that's really the big thing. You go in one by one each time, and Leftovers can't seem to coordinate and recompose themselves as they are surely throwing this game.
Hungry for More, gonna go for the Gold Fury, but blinking from Jungler there, going for the aggression. Gold Fury still stands, Hungry for More, get it, because if Storm is not available for Prime, and he'll go down to Jungler. Look at how low Hungry for More are, and Leftovers giving chase, looking for the picks. They don't manage to get any of them as Zindurn blinks away, but there is one man, one lone man. He's only got one arm. He's armless, boys, leave him alone. 2v1 at the moment, and there's 2 more players coming. Gonna get some damage off, but Variety will fall.
Yeah, great patience. Badgah, young Badgah knew that he was going to go for the Fearless, the stance switch to Fearless, waited until the combo was out, made sure Arkkyl didn't take too much damage, and was able to taunt him off. And I love that too, because he could have immediately taunted, right? But with Tier's passive, if there wasn't enough damage out, he could have, Tier's passive would have gotten him out of that, and he would have turned and possibly killed Arkkyl if played correctly. So.
Zindurn at the jungle here, throwing out some poke, but interesting thing about Zindurn, gone for the Mantle of Discord as his major 3rd item here. Picked up Hide of the Urchin, and instead of going to NFL, straight into the Mantle of Discord. How do you feel about that?
I mean, it seems to be working right now. The biggest thing about Mantle of Discord is it's a luxury item, costs a lot, but Zindurn found the farm, and he got it done, and this will help him. It's not going to hurt him anyway. I don't think this is the wrong move, as they also give CDR, which is what you want, especially on Xing 10.
On Xing 10, indeed. And you did see the Fear No Evil fight off by Twig there to defend that blue buff, which they do pick up. Zindurn gets credit for that. Zindurn on his own over here, though, trying to defend this tier 1 tower. Not a whole lot he can do, but it looks like Leftovers very aware that the rotation from Hungry for More could happen again. But Hungry for More a little bit late at the moment, but they respect that to Leftovers.
I think they definitely got spooked from last time. It was a risky tier 1 dive, and they lost so much of their advantage as the game actually tends to lead for Hungry for More a little bit now. But really, the biggest thing, be very careful and respect this team as they're kind of walking all over them early. It's more of an even game now.
And when you look at the teams on paper in mid-game, who are you favouring more than anything? Especially in an even game.
If played correctly, I think Hungry for More have the better mid to late game comp in terms of like power, burst damage, and you know, team fight potential. But Leftovers also, it's a very scary team comp with Janus always.
I feel like Leftovers composition is a very high execution one in the later stages. If they pull it off perfectly, they're going to win, but it's not that simple in the game of Smite.
Yeah, really, any kind of big plays Leftovers can easily make. As jungler with a great blink, he can instantly one-shot the AD carry late game or Ataraxia late game. But like I said, that's all execution-based. Anything can go wrong, and the next thing you know, Leftovers can wipe. So
20 minutes in now, and the map's relatively open between the 2 teams, especially with some of these outer towers now being down. Only 2 tier 1 towers remain, one on the right-hand side with barely any health, and a full health tower for Leftovers on the left. With the Gold Fury down now, both teams are generally just probably going to farm up here and wait for the next Gold Fury spawn more than anything else. Look for picks.
Yeah, I think it's better to take it slow, especially after all of that. They've been trying to siege the Soul Lane tier 1 tower like 3 times already. It hasn't been working out, so would love to see them just play a little bit more patiently, go for a pick into the tier 1 instead of just going to the tier 1 right off the bat, willy-nilly.
Trying to force it, and well, that tower's got nothing remaining on the right-hand side anyway, so anyone could just walk up. Nika could probably do that on his next rotation over there. Checking the inviting builds once more that's always a really big talking point for Season 3 is the itemization changes. Nika on that Bellona has the Frostbound Hammer completed, working towards the Hide of the Urchin. Meanwhile, Variety, well, he's gone for the Bulwark of Hope and Breastplate build, and now working towards what looks like Jotuns.
Yeah, and I definitely dig the full CDR tier. I think that's kind of like the way to go. Having your Fearless and your heal up non-stop. The Bulwark is going to help him against any kind of magic damage, which is, you know, it's a decent amount, especially with Janus poke by the late game. It's going to be more than enough to help him deal with burst damage, and the Breastplate Jotun's combo is just key.
And we see more of this in the mid lane as well, with these helms starting to be picked up more often than not in the mid lane. You were saying earlier in the season, like you mentioned about Imperial Helm and how you thought that was going to be...
I made a video on it, actually.
Did
on
you?
my YouTube, yes.
You have a YouTube?
I do.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it just failed Xbox attempts and failed PC stories? Is that it?
Failed Xbox top 10 plays. But the biggest thing I went over is Dynasty Plate Helm, how with Dynasty Plate Helm and the pen boots, you reach half the pen cap very early. With only 3,000 gold, you can get Dynasty Plate Helm and Pen Boots, and that's a significant amount of physical protection, magical power, and penetration. That's really the key thing. Penetration is awesome.
You mentioned penetration here. Batz going in, and he's also working towards that Titan's Bane. Inferno Weevil goes off, gets the overhand smash, chasing on Cherryo at the moment as Variety blinks in looking for it, forces it through space and time. Zindurn kept the whole team away. Nobody dies in this engagement, but we did see a couple of ultimate use from both teams.
Yeah, and I like the initiation now. CaptainTwig setting the pace of the game, setting the pace of the team fight as he forces all of Leftovers back to their blue buff, and they can use this to gain map control for the Fire Giant. And really, I feel like it's a little bit too early to be fighting for this Fire Giant. So it's 22 minutes in the game, but everyone on the side of Hungry for More is around, you know, the level 15 to 18 area.
And how long does a Fire Giant take at this stage of the game to take? Because a lot of team people don't really realize until the team's about to go for it.
It's going to take a lot, especially with the fact that Hungry for More don't have a traditional hunter. So it's a little bit harder to tank it. You would need your tanks like Variety or Zindurn to tank it for you, and then you only have magical damage. You have no sort of power spike.
Blinking from Zindurn. Ultimate goes off, throwing Cherryo into a dangerous position. Cherryo is deleted off the map by Ataraxia, and PrettyPriMe combining Variety, zoning the rest of the team away. Going to use his Lawbringer away and actually absorb the ultimate from Nijar there as well.
It looked unintentional, but Jungler not being able to get that ult off. You could tell he really wanted that 1-for-1 kind of trade, but now the teleport's back out, and Hungry for More looking to siege tier 2 here.
They're waiting for minions, and actually no they're not, they're just going to use Variety to tank it up. That's what his build's all about, tanking the front line. Love his decision making to just hold it on the outskirts and heal off the minions again afterwards, and hold the front line all at the same time.
Yeah, great little synergy there. Grab a tier 2, back up, and Hungry for More really took this game by the balls as they not only defended their tier 1 and got that huge power spike of clearing their tier 2 and then getting the Gold Fury, but now they answer back with another tier 2 in the Soul Lane.
Well, they're smelling good right now. 8-8 is the scoreline. 2,500 gold lead, 2,500 experience lead as well, which isn't a whole lot to shout home about, but the map is opening up, and Hungry for More definitely, since that tier 1 dive on the right-hand side, they've just taken control of this game and kept the pressure up.
I would like to give a huge shout out to CaptainTwig. He was looking very shaky in the early game. He was having a rough time, didn't really get anything going, and the momentum he's gained right now, initiating the plays, he might be 0-2-5, but he's setting up a lot here. As
Athena Weaver's a bit important.
Yeah, the disruption for Leftovers blowing beads like relics. So for example, that pick on Cherryo was all off the back end of him. Obviously, Zindurn blinked in and did it, but he didn't have his relic available because of CaptainTwig.
And then when you actually look at the composition, we mentioned this in picks and bans. The whole side of Hungry for More is a big AoE teamfight composition that's able to burn purification and force people. Leftovers, well, they played to their strengths at the beginning of the game with that global mobility around the map. Should they look back, potentially, Leftovers, to maybe split pushing a little bit more now?
They should be playing the pick comp, I think, a little bit more. Not looking for these traditional 5-on-5 fights. You want to poke and rinse repeat, especially with Janus not really big scary damage like Raijin late game or Zeus late game or anything crazy like that. Janus is 100% poke. You want to look for unstable vortex to get everyone poked out below half, and then you get a pick.
Well, Leftovers, a little bit caught out of position here. They're hanging around the Fire Giants. The Gold Fury is being done by Hungry for More. They will get the Gold Fury. Leftovers, they can't start this because there's still 2 people of Hungry for More defending, keeping an eye that they're not doing it. Zindurn, under pressure, getting poked heavily, has to ultimate Inferno Evil to zone him away, throw him back into the ultimate, but still Zindurn goes down. Zindurn for a Gold Fury, is that okay?
I think so, as long as Leftovers don't get anything more. We do see the slight kind of pressure. The stun is out. Variety taking too much damage, forced to ult away, but the chase is on with Bellona ult.
Chase is on with him for Monorail, and you actually saw the drums of war come out from PrettyPriMe there to zone them away once more. Twig blinks in, so he jumps in, I should say, with the monkey, puts some pressure onto Arkkyl. But like you said, as long as nothing more comes from it, it's not too bad. Well, all they really lost was purification beads on Ataraxia for a Gold Fury as well as Zindurn's life.
Yeah, the biggest thing is Leftovers didn't push the advantage properly. They didn't recognize that Hungry for More were going for a split objective play, showing some presence at Fire Giant while ninjaing the Gold Fury on the other side of the map. So it was smart of Hungry for More to go for that. Really, the biggest thing was Leftovers didn't recognize what was going on.
Builds is finally starting to come through to the full fruition right about now, approaching the 6th item for most of these players in the game. Is there anything in the builds that you're surprised by at all, or is everything pretty much where you'd expect it to be for the stage of the game?
I just want to see what Zindurn goes for next. With his build, he's a little bit lacking on health. He has a lot of protections, though. He's covering the protections a lot. We'd like to see maybe a Winged Blade.
Just the protection, is it okay to go for protection on Xing just because of his health regen?
Yeah, I mean, like, overall, his build's okay. Like, I'm definitely not hating on it. I would just like to see a little bit, maybe like 200 extra health. Yeah. And
Tom from Badgah, though, onto Ataraxia. He does not have his purification available. He's going to try and get away for now, force the form out as the through space and time came off there. Athena dunking in onto Nika here, looking for the extra damage to Variety, but Variety's so tanky right now. There's the fire, but the sun's coming down now from Arkkyl as Jungler picks up Variety finally. Nika has to get away from the pressure from CaptainTwig, who's forced to purification. Zindurn trying to zone away, but Jungler gets the ultimate off onto Twig, who will fall down guaranteed before he lands. Percussive Storm goes off, sorry, the ultimate from Prime goes off. He gets some poke, but it's not enough, and Leftovers win the fight 2-0.
Yeah, the DK Conga drums at the end there from PrettyPriMe were just like, he hit 3 shots, missed the last shot because he was moving backwards because he had to reposition. It was so close, could have picked up jungler at the end.
From what I can say about Raijin as well, it's very difficult to judge when you should use that ultimate. Because you want to save it for defense, but you also want to save it for, you want to use it offensively too. But
it depends on like what your team has set up. Like if you're going to be the setup kind of god, which is cool about Raijin compared to other mid lane, because based on how you use your ult, you can be for setup, heal, or offensive damage. So because he has a fear, taunt, and just flat out burst damage with his ult use.
Well, for 27 minutes in the fire giant being looked at now by Leftovers, but you can see Zindurn is back alive around this area, trying to keep the team informed of what's going on around that area. The whole team now respawn once again. Well, it's a little bit quicker than the game yesterday for you so far.
Yeah, just a little bit as the Fire Giant attempts. I mean, really, I feel like these Fire Giant attempts have been a little bit too early, as not everyone's level 20 yet.
That sash just missed from Jungler. If that would have connected, would have caused some issues. Through space and time was used then by Cherryo as well, so this could be a sign for Hungry for More to look for some aggression now. Variety blinking in, looking for the pick onto Cherryo, who's used the purification means will get through his portal. Fearless missing Fear No Evil used by Twig onto Arkkyl, but Arkkyl retreats to a safe location. The sun's rained down onto the team fight, causing issues. Prime jumps in with the crash and finds one as Jungler takes out Twig. The Bellona gets a good bludgeon off, but now Nika's still in trouble here. They're looking for Badgah and Nika at the same time. They should find Nika at the end of this one. It's because of Storm available. No, Ataraxia's in hand is. And that fight goes 2-for-1 in favor of Hungry for More. And the health bars say, well, they could look towards this Fire Giant.
Yeah, the biggest thing there was Zindurn getting the big boy swing, ground pound, and able to set his team up for victory, tossing 3 of the teammates into a Raijin mez and drop down. So, yeah, this should be a pretty clean Fire Giant. But
oh, no, it's not. Jungler is in Sash onto Ataraxia, who got Fire Giant aggro as well, but does manage to escape. Jungler ends up falling down there from full health. Cherryo trying to juke around as best as he can away from the tier, but he doesn't get away from Raijin. The drums are out. Beat me down, so give me a song. Cherryo through space and time looking for the damage, ends up falling down to Zindurn under hot breath.
That was cheeky. Cherryo was about to turn that around. If the ult connected on top of the stable vortex, it might have been enough. Maybe not quite, but it does force PrettyPriMe to back. And yeah, like
and it does force the Fire Giant to stay alive.
Yeah, of course. And sometimes you got to make those power plays. I touched on this my last cast, where suiciding to delay the Fire Giant for as long as possible might be necessary, because it's a lot easier for like people to drop the Fire Giant and it resets to full health, so it's a lot easier to defend it that way than it is for them to commit when it's a lower health.
And you mentioned about Zindurn's build, and you want to see some more health coming out. We actually see a Void Stone picked up from here, which is going to increase the amount of damage his 2 magical teammates are going to do, as well as his own.
Yeah, I mean, he's like he has lots of protections, lots of damage, health regen. Hopefully the health, him lacking at least full-on health items.
Oh, that Arkyl's in trouble. Going to get full all-in by the boys of Hungry for More. Isolated away from his support Badgah there, and Nika could only stand and watch. And now they're going to turn their attention back to the Fire Giant again. Variety on zoning duty as Nika tries to clear out a ward. His Variety is going to get control of that one. Twig, though, they're turning back to the fight as junglers come in. They're looking for some pressure, as we did see PrettyPriMe use his crash to disengage the fight for now. Zindurn gets poked again on the front line. Shell forced her. Variety, though, Lawbringers to the back, looking for a little bit more pressure. Fearless power cleave chain onto Nika, who's under pressure here. Has to use his ultimate defensively, but Twig's not done. Gonna jump in and slow him. And the drums of war come out from Prime to help Ataraxia get the kill.
The biggest thing here for me is Hungry for More look way more organized in a team fighting setting compared to Leftovers. As far as early game, I think Leftovers definitely have their laning phase down on edge compared to Hungry for More. But Hungry for More, they're just dominating. Picks, disruption, they're doing everything in the team fighting phase correctly, and now you're starting to understand why Hungry for More are coming back, as they're kind of manhandling Leftovers.
But they still don't have that Fire Giant yet. The blue buff was defended there, as we saw on the screen, by Cherryo. Because of his purification beads, though, so he's going to be careful for the next 140 seconds. As this game still continues with the towers being down, it's all about Fire Giants right about now.
Yeah, I want to see a little bit more initiation out of Leftovers. I want to see young Badgah get in there, get the taunts that they need to really...
And who's he looking for with these taunts? I mean, it's not easy to pick a Sol, is it? Let's be honest.
Yeah,
or
of
is
course.
it?
You want to blow beats. You want to look for the Raijin. I think CaptainTwig's been a major initiator in a couple of these fights. Put him on the defensive. We saw how well that went early game, putting him on the back foot. Maybe if young Badgah can get the taunts of time that he needs, he might be able to help leftovers come back.
I mean, when you look at the damage charts as well, if you say he looks for Raijin with these taunts, Raijin's the majority of the damage of the side of Hungry for More here. Ataraxia on that Hunter played Sol. Not very high up, only 13,000 less than the junglers here, so he's not died much in this game.
Granted, I will say...
he's got the kills, but...
Yeah, I will say that Hungry for More have been a lot easier in terms of just kill confirming because of their burst damage potential.
Fearless onto Badgah, going to take some poke from Variety. Nika going in very deep there with the ultimate, looking for it, didn't find it. Meanwhile, on the front side, we saw PrettyPriMe was very far forward, has to crash away, and even used his ultimate there for defense, and ends up wasting that one, has to make a recall back to base, so Hungry for More without their mid laner for a few seconds.
The biggest thing there was Nika missing that Bellona ult, didn't set his team up for anything. In fact, even if that ult were to land, there was no potential follow-up out of leftovers. I feel like Nika's really been underperforming this game. Everyone else on leftovers seems like they've showed up, but we do see Nika...
Nika's struggling.
Yeah, I mean, 5 and 6 really hasn't had much of an impact.
But the first time in the Pro League, like when you first stepped in the Pro League, it's not an easy thing to step straight in, is it?
Oh, of course, yeah. I mean, there's probably like some mental aspect that could be potentially going on.
Yeah.
Maybe just negative vibes
Fair
overall.
enough. Twig goes off, but Arkkyl well aware of it. Variety's thinking about going over the wall then, but changes his mind, turns his attention back to the leftovers duo that was over on that right-hand side there, just pushing them back once more, as the Fire Giant still stands for the time being. But that's the big story here, is that Leftovers is a team that's been put together from rags to riches, basically.
Yeah.
Most of them are classed as nobodies, and not to be offensive to them by saying that, but not much is known about most of this team. And if it has been known, it's not been like high-level known.
Yeah, unless you're really tied deeply to the European rank scene. The biggest thing is a lot of these people, as you mentioned, are rookies.
Yep.
So having them come in and actually display such a nice performance, especially against Hungry for More, which we know most of Hungry for More, is exciting. And really, I think the biggest thing is hopefully they can get these nerves together, get all on the same page, and bring this game back. And we need some frontline action out of Nika. We need some true initiation out of young Badgah. And I want to see some more of Cherryo jungler combinations. They need to put CaptainTwig on defensive. They need to make sure Zindurn doesn't get these huge 3-man ults.
Well, can they do that is the question. As once again, the Fire Giant position is in favor of Leftovers right now. They're looking for a pick, going to get a ton off on Ataraxia, which is going to put him in an awkward spot. Zindurn going to create a zone for him from one side, as Twigs creates one from the other. He did jump to the monkey there, though, which is a little bit risque, but didn't get punished for it for now. As once again, it's back to Hungry for More, looking for ward control. And there you go. Twig with the ward will place it down, and Zindurn returns to the front line, pushing Leftovers back to their side of the jungle.
Yeah, they do blow some beats there. Soul's, Ataraxia's beats were popped, and it looks like Leftovers recognized that. They got what they wanted, and they ran all the way to Phoenix. They are not having any of that. Gave a complete map control on the right side. Doesn't look like they're quite ready to fight yet, so backing up. Being very scared.
I mean, I think both teams have a right to be scared, because the Fire Giant's going to win the game pretty much at this point. It feels that way anyway.
I mean, we're actually halfway through what would be like the LG versus enemy game, so really, like, they can take as long as they want. Because
you okay with that?
No, of course not. But realistically, like, they just need to take their time and look for the correct engagement, because as the timer goes up, so does the respawn time.
I think the biggest key that we're going to see out of Leftovers, though, is they need to get the purification off both PrettyPriMe and Ataraxia before they go in. At the moment, they're on alternative cooldowns here, so whenever we see the cooldown off for Ataraxia, we also see that PrettyPrime's is up, or the other way around, every single time. So if they can get Raijin and Ataraxia's in the same engagement, then they could potentially look to go aggressive.
Yeah, and the biggest thing is trying to get both of the big, scary burst mages late game at the same time. Young Badgah really has a lot of work put ahead of himself, and it's hard because jungler can't seem to get the picks that he wants. Cherryo's having a hard time poking out. Everyone are hungry for more without getting picked. And really, it's just, like we mentioned before, the Leftovers comp, as we get into the later stage of the game, it's so hard execution-wise. While Hungry for More, big AoE circles. Can't really mess that up.
Variety trying to find out if the Fire Giant was going on. Realizes it's perfectly safe as the ring toss goes out from jungler, hitting a couple of people. But neither team really backing away at the moment. But neither of them are actually farming either. So it's taken a while in this game for the full bills to be reached. Although talking about that, Raijin nearly got that Soul Reaver online as Prime is forced to use the purification beads once again through space and time. Hit him on the back as well. And Cherryo was thinking about going through that portal as well. Arkkyl being chased out by Variety on the right-hand side there as Athena. Badgah has to ult back to the safety of jungler, but Zindurn's not done. He's going to continue chasing. Hungry for more, are looking for a potential pick here. Good poke on Nika, but it's not going to be enough to find a kill.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. Even though Young Badge did a great job blowing beats there, Hungry for More recognized that they can't go for this kind of poke comp. Try to full in, all in commit. As you can tell with the positioning, they are all the way in leftover side of the map. Like, this is pretty deep to be territory-wise. So I think Hungry for More definitely has leftovers numbers. They recognize that they're not trying to fight, and they're trying to make sure that they can't get the full advantage of just, hey, you take Raijin's beats, well, you lose all of map control as Hungry for More clear out the wards yet again in the Fire Giant pit.
So support builds here, obviously with Athena, we've got Bulwark of Hope, Hide of the Urchin, Spirit Robe as well there picked up. Sorry, not Spirit Robe, Magi's Blessing, I should say, picked up there.
I dig that.
There's a taunt onto Variety, good poke damage on him as well. That's a lot of bursting, maybe have to find him, but no, it is a tanky tier. Lawbringer's away, Nika went off with the ultimate, and Prime uses the Drums of War to zone them away and create space for Variety to be able to recall back to base and not be picked up. But through space and time gets find, he doesn't find it. Arkkyl charges through Zindurn, gonna pick 2 up with his ultimate, and now Zindurn's in pressure too as the taunt goes out from Badgah. Jungler picks up Zindurn, but Twig trades that out with Arkkyl. To the sky goes Jungler, taking a target away with him, and that target will be PrettyPriMe, who falls down 2. Leftovers find a little nice fight as Variety ends up forcing his team to have to try and help him.
Yeah, that was actually key, as going into the next team fight, they really just need to play the pick game. Leftovers, in a traditional 5v5 running straight up at Hungry for More, they'll lose every single time. But notice how they immediately put Variety on the back foot, immediately initiated the fight off of that, going pick by pick, and the Janus ult was key.
And you called that as well, that they need to find a pick. They can't look for a great straight 5-on-5 fight.
They have to start each fight immediately in a 4v5 advantage.
Every time.
Hungry for More needs like one of their members to be backing like Variety, immediately just out of the fight. Can't do anything, no front line coming out of him because he's already almost dead.
And that's exactly one of the reasons why you don't see anyone from Hungry for More trying to farm up the left-hand side or the mid side too far away from the team if they're all positioned around the Fire Giant. But Variety still stands at the moment, 3, 3, and 8. As we see the damage charts there, 2 members of Leftovers are topping them right now. Cherryo and Arkkyl doing good work on the Hoyi and Janus. Right behind him, though, is the Raijin and 2 other members of Hungry for More with Variety and Twig. Purification wasted by Twig there. Had to for the taunt through space and time. Misses from Cherryo there. They were looking for the pick on Twig. Twig gets away from the danger as Variety's now going to be the front line holder, as it was ult for ult traded between jungler and mid laner.
Yeah, crazy little engagement, lots of ults used, but looks like both teams are going to kind of reset here. Hopefully Leftovers can keep the war control they have over the Fire Giant pit for now, as it looks like they're trying to clear it out. And the biggest thing, hopefully they can rinse repeat what happened last team fight, because it would be unfortunate if Hungry for More just get back map control, because like I said, running into each other is not the best situation for Leftovers. They need these picks. They need this poke damage.
They're still trying to control the Fire Giant pit, look for the pick with the bait around the corner, but the mobility of Zindurn on that Xing 10 is paying off well for Hungry for More, able to poke in and out. Same with Variety. Their front line very, very strong for them, and with Twig to semi-peel the backside if required, but Badgah blinks in, gets a taunt onto Twig and onto Ataraxia. Purification force on Ataraxia. Nika follows up with the ultimate there, but it only really connected with Zindurn, which isn't the biggest thing you want. Fear no evil though, puts Badgah in a world of hurt. Jungler goes for the ultimate, but Purification in response. Jungler's in trouble. Jungler will fall down to Prime, and the Drums of War there fired off to secure it. Jump in from Twig, looking for Nika, gets the somersault off, but a good pull from Cherryo saves the day. The thing is, the Lawbringer connected with Cherryo there, and now Cherryo's going to be a casualty instead to Variety. Prime's a little bit too far forward. Arkyl's trying to trade it, make it worthwhile, but Arkyl's going to fall down here. This could be Hungry for More's opportunity to take the game.
They outright could take mid and right Phoenix if they decide to. It's at least a guaranteed Fire Giant, and the biggest thing there was that Jungler overextended in that team fight. He had no real team support, and he went for the all-in ult play, and a great, DK Conga beats at the end there, really for this CC immunity.
Nika's back here though, and he's going to push him off the Fire Giant. They're not going to get a free Fire Giant at all here, allied. Taunt from Badger's going to push 2 into an awkward spot chasing him when they were really looking for Nika. Fire Giant didn't reset though, he's still at half health. Badger and Nika defending to high heaven, looking to try and keep them busy. Fire Giant's dropping on Athena. Weaver's going to zone them away, and Hungry for More get the Fire Giant as Leftovers did their best to defend.
I'm surprised that Young Badger didn't try to at least go around more and mess with the DPS, but overall, yeah, I know it was great confirmation on Hungry for More. Notice how they used their CC immune ults at the end there. We had the Batz ult and the Zindurn ult.
Just
the
zone both.
Yeah, like no real kill attempts coming out. They just want the Fire Giants back up.
Absolutely no messing around from Hungry for More there. They get the Fire Giant and immediately you can see the pings on the map, and that is literally Hungry for More going tier 1, tier 2, left Phoenix. Let's go. You can see where the pings are already.
Yeah, absolutely.
So this is what you should be doing. Take these last towers down.
Well, really, that's the path to victory because there's no other towers available. So if they decide to defend tier 1 to tier 2, they die. And then you just go win the game. So really, I think Leftover's best bet. Let's look for poke damage into a Phoenix defense and see what we can do because it's always your best bet to defend as 5. Fire Giant or not, against a pushing team comp like that, you want to definitely defend on the Phoenix.
Now here's one thing we've not spoke about, Alex, because we spoke about jungle, like looking for picks and things, but sieging versus defense. In this situation, have Leftovers got what it takes to be able to defend against a siege of Hungry for More here?
It's rough. It's hard. Like, they need the plays.
I mean,
and that's the big thing
wise,
with
it doesn't feel like they've got a front line that can really do anything.
I mean, Nika's been really, like, we haven't talked much about Nika because Nika really hasn't done as much as a traditional soul laner would. He's been having a rough time this game, 0-5 and I believe 6. But really the biggest thing is he's been having a rough time in the soul lane. So it's hard.
Twig going in already. Oh my goodness, Twig, the mistakes were made. Xing gets annihilated. He did get purification of Arkkyl, thinking the Fear Weaver was coming, but through space and time, fired by Cherryo with that man advantage. They're lucky to dominate. Variety has to low bring her away. Very good ultimate from Nika though, but there's the drums of war going off from Prime to get some good damage off. Jungler takes one to the sky though. Zindurn does pick up Arkkyl as Ataraxia falls down too. This was a Fire Giant team up against Leftovers, and Leftovers are winning this fight now. The mistake from Twig is being punished, and Leftovers are going to hold.
Yeah, the biggest thing, they need to pick up Zindurn here if possible, but they're actually backing up. The teleport's actually clean. Variety is taunted. Now the tier pass is too strong. The poke on Nika, I'm pretty sure they don't have enough damage, but they can definitely chase down Nika, scare him a little bit. And Nika,
they pinned him in a wall there,
great
but
portal.
The portal from Cherryo saves the day.
That was huge, especially the fact that they were able to stop that. The biggest thing was, it made me kind of like butt face, but the biggest thing was CaptainTwig just blinked in and died. Like, and really, even so that blink in was good. He had no fault from his team, no presence from his team. A little bit too early to jump the gun, especially you want to end these kind of games very slowly. It's 43 minutes. You got like 10 years on the respawn.
That whole thing, when he blinked in, I was like, oh, he got Arkyl's purification. That was awesome. And I thought he was going to somersault straight out. Instead, he used overhand smash.
Yeah, no,
and
that's
instead
why.
of the overhand smash going off, he got smashed instead.
Oh, the biggest thing was the reaction time out of Jungler. Jungler immediately sashed him, wrapped him up, slapped him, and he died. And really, he couldn't even jump out in time because it looks like he committed to overhand slam as if like his ult went off or something. Like, I don't know. It was just very weird play. CaptainTwig might be a little bit too excited.
Bit of a mistake, and that mistake has left Leftovers in this game again. With the Fire Giant only being on Variety and Zindurn here, yeah, they've got a front line with regen, but the back line, well, they're probably going to wait for the next Fire Giant now before looking to try and end this game.
Yeah, and that is going to be a big thing here. What could have been at least a couple Phoenixes down only turns into 2 towers down, and it's 44 minutes in the game. The respawn timers are only getting longer. Believe me, I have experience in this area.
Well, here's the best thing as well, right? Both these teams are very, very experienced. Sorry, both these teams have members who are very experienced in playing late games.
Yes.
However, your first time as a team in the Pro League, and you're going to go late in your first game of the season.
Oh yeah, nerves have. I mean, even
you don't get to
CaptainTwig
practice. How do you practice these games?
You don't. These are like once in a lifetime. You kind of savor these moments because this is where like the true jank, actually comes out. A lot of
Which
people,
we saw yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, like, you know, cracking my brain. I had a 76-minute cast.
You
so,
did.
Really, when it comes down, you get to see all the true nature of how good some of these guys can be late game.
And there's no way to really practice this in scrims. Then is that what happens?
Absolutely.
Do you never ever get a chance to do that?
If you get this in a scrim, you savor as much as you can, and you try to recognize
because most teams in scrims, from what I understand, is like when they're behind, they're like, okay, F6, we're done.
Yeah.
You know, you'll just end it early, like, okay, we know it's over.
Of course, yeah.
But in these situations, they're very rare.
Yeah, and you get, believe it or not, I probably got most of my super late game experience like this in these nasty, like Smite rank games where it's like, you know, it's back and forth. You got that one guy feeding, and it's like, oh, well, you know, at least I know what to do, how to direct my team in these kind of late game
Didn't know you
scenarios.
queued with DM.
Yeah, I don't.
Taunt goes off from Badgah there, puts a bit of pressure onto Zindurn and Variety, but it was the front line. Twig blinks in, gets the Fear No Evil off, but it doesn't really connect with anyone. So Blink and Fear No Evil down for free. Gone, safe for free, but look at that, through space and time fired. And look through the portal, he jumps. Variety is going to go aggressive onto Jungler, but Jungler's going to turn it back, force the Lordbringer away. Prime is being chased down though by Nika and Badgah, forced to ultimate away. Badger's tanking the front side, back on the backside. Variety's fighting multiple members, and Arkkyl is going to get credit for the kill. So the aggression from Hungry for More once again gets turned on, and Jungler jumps through the portal, Badgah jumps through the portal, gets the taunt off onto Zindurn. Leftovers start this fire giant. Zindurn is still here. Rest of Hungry for More trying to retreat to get back to this fight as quick as they can, but Jungler takes out PrettyPriMe and is keeping Ataraxia at bay. Fire giant still being done.
And now Leftovers have a clear shot at Fire Jump, but here comes CaptainTwig. CaptainTwig should have his ultimate available soon. He does have his full CDR. The Hui Suns are out, and really, it's a big gamble. I know CaptainTwig's in the area, not quite in time as Leftovers confirm the Fire Giant. Now they can look to kill Mr. Twiggy. His ult came up in time, however, Badger's taking too much damage, but the reset is there. Ataraxia and Twig walk away.
And the game switches again. Leftovers now have the Fire Giant. They defended against the Fire Giant team of Hungry for More. And there's 2 towers on the side of Hungry for More for Leftovers to try and take now. Now, let's switch it back on its head again. I asked how it was with Hungry for More pushing in terms of siege comp. What's the siege comp of Leftovers like?
It's going to be poke from Cherryo. You're going to look for taunts, and really it's rinse repeat young Badgey taunts into Cherryo poke, and then it's going to be jungler is going to look for someone to commit on. Yeah. And that's the biggest thing, finding the correct target to commit on. And when we talk about that last team fight, Nika and young Badgey did a great job. They zoned out 3 people, which were all the DPS of Hungry for More. CaptainTwig backed, and really the biggest thing was Zindurn and Variety, they completely by themselves. They got blown up by the backline of Leftovers, and Leftovers are able to take full advantage. So they could do the same thing again.
Hungry for More, though, their defense, is that better than technically Leftovers?
It's this late in the game, you just take a Phoenix fight, fam. You don't even, towers don't mean anything. It's just take the Phoenix fight, fam. Let's not try to chance it, because this is SPL. This is the first week. You want to look good for mum.
You do, for your mum. Yeah. So she can get the camera. It's right.
Yeah.
Cherryo going to push down the minions in the lane now, and they're actually going to wait for the whole minion wave to come in here. Leftovers, they don't want to make any mistakes here if they can help it. But as Leftovers, do you really look for a split push potentially here? I mean, you've got the opportunity to do that, no?
It's 48 minutes. It's really going to come down to a team fight, unless you have great split pushing.
You against the whole AoE comp of Hungry for More here, though.
I mean, you can do split pressure. I wouldn't like commit to an all-in split push.
I meant like split pressure.
Yeah,
and then,
like if they pushed in mid lane right now and soul lane, they could very easily force a kind of split composition, and that would be a little bit better. But the biggest thing here, it's all on the back end of young Badgey's taunts. These Athena taunts coming up have to be hot and crispy. Hot and crispy taunts, or we're going to make this game for Leftovers.
We'll find out what Badgey's hot and crispy taunts will be like. But at the moment, they take the towers and recall to base.
I dig this. I mean, that was a lot of gold.
Power potion pickups at the end?
Yeah.
Cherryo just pops one there. I just saw that, and buy some extra sentry wards as well on the way back.
Well, I think they understand also it's going to be quite hard to engage on Phoenix against that team composition. Let's force them, make them feel safe. You know, I like this too. All right, we're going to make them maybe walk out of the Phoenix line.
I just want to say something, by the way, as well. This is like your second cast, right?
Yeah, second
of the Pro
cast,
League,
and
it's another 40-plus minute game.
Yeah,
so you were the best.
70 minutes.
You were the best playing from behind because you used to take it late to get to that stage. So whenever you cast a game, you're gonna jinx it. It's always gonna go late.
Yeah, it's just all my casts are gonna go beyond 60 minutes.
I never want to cast with you ever again.
So I'm just gonna be doing solo casts.
Solo cast with Allied. You always know it's 60 minutes. You might as well tune out.
Well, tune in for this hour-long SPL game.
You could just have you there. Welcome so much to this. Right hand side, Leftovers are grouping up nicely though to try and pressure this Badgah on the front line, looking for the taunt. Going to find Twig, but Zindurn blinks in at the same time, and Variety goes in with the Lawbringer. Washing Machine annihilates Jungler. Zindurn credit. The drums of war go off, annihilating Arkkyl. Twig getting credit for the kill. Badgah retreating, being chased by Zindurn as Twig is pressuring too. The ultimate from Badger's great though to disengage from the fight and split it, but still Hungry for More giving chase. Good jump to the monkey from Twig. The body block was nice too as the taunt comes out to buy him a second. Twig's not giving up though. He wants to keep going in, and Nika smashes him with that shield just to create a bit of room.
Yeah, I love that. Able to peel for his teammates as Leftovers kind of back up, but really The big story there is I mentioned hot and crispy taunts.
Uh-huh.
That wasn't hot and crispy. That was a one-man taunt, and really, when you only get like a one-man taunt like that, or like you dash in and commit that much to only one target, the rest of the 4 teammates for Hungry for More was like, well,
I think
time to eat.
The big key there for me was Zindurn and Variety. They zoned the rest of the team away from Badgah immediately.
Yeah, absolutely.
And found the pick because of it, because they were looking to commit at the same time. Zindurn's reaction with the blink and initiation, and then Variety jumping in too.
And that's the big
split
thing.
it.
It's like when you have something as powerful as taunt down, that's like just open
Go,
the
go,
gates,
go,
like
go,
let's
go.
go, like ooh, we're gonna eat good tonight. And
51 minutes in. How they're going to eat good is the question. The Phoenix is on the menu right now for Hungry for More as they're pushing the mid lane as a 5-man unit. 2 members still dead. Jungler up in 4 seconds. Arkkyl up in 6 seconds. They're going to go in with a taunt as well. Twig with a Fear No Evil looking for Nika. Badgah though. But Cherryo's actually going to get a kill. He managed to pick up Ataraxia in the back and escape from the danger. No, he does not. Drum sounds play as PrettyPriMe gets a kill onto Cherryo. Jungler though on the back looking for a pick on Prime. The ring toss is going to do some good work. The ultimate misses, unfortunately, as the crash changed the positioning. Badgah comes in with the ultimate to help out Jungler now and continue the initiation as Arkkyl is here with Nika, looking to find a single pick, and it's going to be Prime the focus. Crashes away, Ricochet up, Ricochet does not connect. Zindurn slows him down with the knock-up and turns up to run, but that Odysseus bow is starting to proc. Variety now zoning for himself. Peel is the order of the day here, I like.
yeah, Zindurn and Variety doing a great job as the frontline tanks, able to save PrettyPriMe and save themselves as another failed Phoenix push attempt. And really, that seems to be the story. Like, get Fire Giant, get a good pick, go for Phoenix, die, and then, you know, give up momentum.
I mean, why don't you just give the other team a Fire Giant and take a Phoenix? Is that worth? Because you know they can't push with the Fire Giant anymore, right? So you're like, well...
It's okay. So the dream is you want to not only get Fire Giant, you want to get Fire Giant with a pick or two into a guaranteed Phoenix. And that's really the biggest thing. If you notice this with other SPL teams as well, some SPL teams will, like, let's say, win a Fire Giant fight. Yeah. They'll leave Fire Giant there because that's a lot easier to fight for and get the guaranteed Phoenix, which is a lot harder to fight for. So it's really the SPL team's call, but... yeah, it's a rough call indeed. A
very close game for day one. He's going to use his ultimate knowing the taunt was coming out there. Hits Arkkyl. Arkkyl took a lot of poke. That was a Soul Reaver hit there. Variety's looking for it with the Lawbringer. He actually blinks in through space and time, fired off to create an opening. Doesn't actually connect with anyone. Leftovers disengaged there. But my, oh my, did Arkkyl eat some poke.
Yeah, really the drum beats there. You know, the boom, 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 boom. Just Soul Reaver proc was gnarly. He was able to barely survived out of that one.
Barely.
And really, like, you could tell he was like, all right, well, I'm ulted. I'm going to play this a little bit relaxed. Then he got, like, almost one shot. He's like, I'm out, fam. So, scary. It's scary stuff, especially 53 minutes in the game. Like, most people don't get to this point, like, naturally. Like, it has to be, like, kind of almost delayed. Yeah,
yep.
So lots of back and forth gameplay going on here. And another Fire
but
Giant
look at this, they're
standoff.
pushing up Hungry for More, but leftovers around the back looking for the pressure. They're going to Prime Prime. They're bursting Prime. Prime is deleted by Cherryo with the unstable vortex. The sun's rained down onto Ataraxia too. He's trying to run away. Nika's giving chase with Badgah and support. Ataraxia could go down. Bludgeon timing was perfect from Nika, but so was Variety's fearless to keep him alive. Cherryo though takes out Twig on the backside as 2 men get hit by the taunt, but Hungry for More's front line is what they're up against. Zindurn, very tanky. Not tanky enough though to survive the burst of Cherryo's. Janus, a double kill for him, and this could be an opportunity for a Phoenix. They're looking for more.
Yeah, the portal in, able to actually go for it. No way, Cherryo looking for it, and he actually picks up Ataraxia. That was so cheeky, recognizing he can Janus portal from that distance. Variety, his peel might be good, but there's no way he should be able to peel for himself here as he's trying to run. And it looks like they might not have enough DPS. Depends if they decide to keep with this, which they are. He's looking to turn it, actually. Cherryo forced the Sanctuary, turns it on Badgah instead. And no way, great portal in place, but it might not be
it wasn't good enough. Wasn't good enough.
1v3 takes out Cherryo.
Variety plays this so well because he's keeping him off the Phoenixes too, which is allowing his teammates to respawn potentially. 20 seconds on Prime. Variety's like, what's up, boys? There's only 3 of you.
No way, he's still alive, sustaining, knocking up young Badgah, slapping him around. He's like, you guys thought
he's gonna kill Nika. He's gonna kill Nika. I can see it. No, he's got no mana. He can't kill Nika.
Nika needs to probably, but yeah, he doesn't have enough mana.
Why are they not pushing is the question. Why are they not pushing? Instead, they're looking for the deicide. PrettyPriMe has now respawned. They get a kill. Why not the Phoenix? I lied. Why not the Phoenix?
I mean, what looks like, I don't know, huge advantages for both teams were turned around immediately with this slugfest team fight. And, like, I still can't believe he baited out. So, Variety baited out the Sanctuary, turned it around. Cherryo's portal on the ground was a little bit too late, and
Yeah.
he got slapped down by the tier juggernaut. Like, I'm done, man.
I mean, this team are hungry for more. Is looking good right now. They're struggling a little bit against leftovers, to be fair. First game of the season and all that, but to be fair, people have said, and oh, 1 second, torn onto Twig. Twig's in trouble. Twig somersaults away. Ring toss connected with him. Zindurn creates space with the Fear No Evil as well in tow. The burst comes out from the drums of PrettyPriMe, but now he's ulted up by Jungler. Prime is going to die before landing. No, I'm lying. Sanctuary will go off and keep him alive. Jungler under pressure by Ataraxia now. Twig goes back in looking for the pick onto Nijan. Nijan will fall with the overhand smash. Nika is going to ult in onto Twig now, trying to pick up Twig. Badgah doing good work to try and keep him busy too. She gets a charge and find the kill. Arkkyl over the wall comes in till Zindurn, trying to zone them away still. Fire Giant still alive through space and time, just got fired, did not connect. However, Cherryo on his way. 2-1 was the trade in that engagement.
Yeah, Cherryo ulting in like we the police. He's looking to help his team from afar. And Fire Giant now, I mean, it's a 1-for-1 trade, 4v4. Really the biggest thing was that PrettyPriMe got away 1 HP, and that has to hurt. Especially like this late jungler, a little bit sad he couldn't just auto-kill him, because that's all Neja late game.
To be fair, Neja trading for the mage mid laner, is that worth? If he died after killing PrettyPriMe, is that still worth? Or
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay
I mean, I think so.
Assassin for mage?
Yeah, because like really PrettyPriMe does way more in a team fight than jungler can, just because of character limitations, right? So like this is single target lockdown that jungler's trying to fulfill. So if he could take out a target or two and then die, completely worth it, because that can literally mean the team.
A lot of people have spoken about Raijin being very, very strong in the damage charts, but there's two gods above him right now. Hun, Batz, and Janus as a taunt lands onto Zindurn again. Lawbringer combo connects, but there's not a lot of damage in that combo. They're both frontline tanks, but they do create a zone to be able to get Fire Giant ward control once more. These two are combining very well, Zindurn and Variety. Yeah. I like these two.
No,
they're very good together.
They're frontline juggernauts doing what they need to do, peeling, pushing people, disruption, and that's the biggest thing. They disrupt so well together, and it's been huge for Hungry for More in these team fights, and I can see a little bit more why this Xing 10 was actually picked up.
It's working. That's the main thing.
And that's really, like, as long as it's working and they're comfortable with it, then fine. I'm down with it, and they're making it work splendidly. The biggest thing I would like to talk about, CaptainTwig turned up. Like, he went from the early game, kind of like wasn't doing anything.
Still some mistakes though.
Yeah, I mean, like, decision making's not 100%, but he's there. Like, we understand what CaptainTwig's going for,
His mentality's there. He's just going to execute it a little bit better.
Well, this is the Fnatic jungle we've come to expect, right? As he is
and that's
really
one thing. One thing we never even spoke about. Badgah and Twig were on the same team together. They know each other's thought process the whole time.
Yeah, and
for a long time those two were together, so they should understand how each other plays. And Badgah probably trying to exploit Twig, Twig probably trying to exploit Badgah and how they're going to play.
Yeah, the mind games, I'm sure, there. Young Badgah really...
have you ever had that yourself in competitive play? You know, where you've got to get someone that you used to be on a team with for a long time, and you were like, okay, this guy's always aggressive, let's just beat him in and laugh at him. Does that happen too much?
No.
No, not really? You don't think that way?
No.
Oh, right, okay.
I just beat them all.
God, you pros are rubbish. You don't even think mentally at all, do you? No. You just beat them all in late game.
Yeah, late game.
From behind.
Okay, 30 minutes, yeah.
From behind.
Of course. It's the only way to do it.
Hungry for More not going to go for a Fire Giant anymore. They're going to just Siege instead. They've changed their mind. They're sick of the shenanigans around the Fire Giant. They're like, you know what, boys?
I like this.
Let's just go for it.
Push out the lane, get the pressure, and notice this is the Fire Giant side lane, so they're probably not going to commit and fully dive. Look for a pick, see if leftovers go for any kind of a fight, which they shouldn't. Really, they should look for a fight like when it's an advantage for them. Under the Phoenix, most likely. Never want to fight off the Phoenix, unless it's like a weakened Phoenix.
Kind of difficult to try and do this just because of the fact that neither of the other lanes are pushed up either, so nobody's going to defend anywhere right now. You can see Variety trying to just keep them busy in the mid lane area, looking for an opportunity to come in if he wanted to, but now rejoins his team, and this just feels like Hungry for More want a siege, but there's no opportunity to really do it.
It's hard, especially with a magical 80 carry. Like, if this was like Ataraxia's Rama, if this is Ataraxia's Huyi, anything except Soul.
Anything physical.
This would have been probably like lights out ages ago, and we'd be out of here. But 60 minutes later, we have Soul 80 carry and having a hard time pushing.
Badgah's going to walk around the left. Nika's going to walk around the dive. Blinking from Twig, looking for the pick on Jungler. Jungler survives. Nika takes a bit of poke pressure there, but not too much to write home about. Through space and time gets fired. Twig ignores it. Zindurn, though, gets two big ornaments off onto two targets. Variety going to zone them away as they turn their attention to Badgah now, who's still in the front line, but the poles will disengage them. Both teams stand 60 minutes in. Still, the standoff continues.
I dig the Tom Clancy out of CaptainTwig, hiding behind the rock, looking for the blink, disruption ult, baiting the beat.
Did you just jinx this game?
Well,
every time you said Tom Clancy, the game ended. Do you realize that?
I'm down. Tom Clancy. Like, but really, the biggest thing was that Zindurn knew that CaptainTwig blew the beads, went around, and then got the two-man able to pull them back in, and it caused leftovers to panic ult in defense. And it's really Young Badger's the only one with an ult that can be channeled right now.
Well, Fire Giant control goes the way of leftovers for a second here. Hungry for more. Clear out the jungle one more time. Give the blue buff actually over to PrettyPriMe there for the extra cooldown more than anything else. I want to say is the reason they gave him that. He's not really like going to be slow on the mana aspect for the time being. But to be fair, no one is at level 20 at this stage of the game. Mana should not really be too much of an issue unless you're in the fight for an hour.
Yeah, if you're worrying about mana, like this late in the game, like you get your priorities a little bit. You don't know, like it's weird.
Rough point.
Yeah. So Fire Giant control going in the way for Hungry for More yet again. They have the momentum. They've set the pace. The biggest thing is can leftovers answer back with the pick.
And the big key. The only fight that's ever been won so far was leftovers decided.
Yeah.
Hungry for More, but they didn't capitalize on it. That was the thing. They didn't get anything out of that fight.
They got a Phoenix, and then CaptainTwig suicided under the left-hand Phoenix. So that's
no Phoenixes
been
down
the
so
only
far.
concrete win, which should have been maybe an outright win if played correctly.
Zindurn, though,
it wasn't.
goes and gets taunted by Badgah. Eats a lot of poke damage there from both Arkkyl and Cherryo. Variety zoning them on the back line again, trying to stop them pressuring in. Through space and time fight, though. They're looking for the pick on Zindurn. Zindurn's going to get cut out of position here. The ball's enough from Cherryo. He did that solo. Twig comes in trying to support, but Twig's under pressure as well. Cherryo jumps away. Arkkyl jumps in. He's going to get fearless comboed. The damage over the wall from Prime will pick up Arkkyl. Then he jumps on Cherryo and deletes Cherryo for the double kill too. Ataraxia all went off for no reason whatsoever. It's a 2-2 trade.
And this is the power of late game. 60 minutes, 62 minutes in, really anything could happen. Notice how everyone's health bar doesn't really mean anything. You hit 1 to 2 abilities, people die. And I mean, it's still a 2-for-2 trade again. Hungry for more push for a Phoenix here or go for the Fire Giant.
Cherryo, so basically Zindurn got caught lazy back there. That was a big thing.
Oh,
lazy back.
That was my man. I'd be lazy too. 62 minutes, I'd be at Netflix on the other monitor. Like, all right, guys, I'm just going to back, get my 18
Netflix on the other monitor. That's disgusting.
Oh, I mean, like.
That's disgusting, Allied. How dare you?
Yeah.
How dare you? This is a children's broadcast as well as an adult's one. How dare you? Pressure though as Badgah blinks in, gets a ton onto 2, but PrettyPriMe doesn't care. Variety's waiting on the back with the Phyllis, but doesn't connect. Badgah charges through the mages in the back, but doesn't cause them to get away. Variety happy to tank for days on the front line here. There's no damage to kind of stop him at the moment. Initiation goes off, taunt at the same time as a big Bellona ultimate. Juggler's in there with the ring tosses. Juggler gets 1, Nika gets 1, and Variety's going to bravely run away. Tier, you've got to do it again, boy.
Yeah, Variety's going to have to stall. Might even look for the turnaround. They got to be careful. This is kind of like a repeat of last time. I mean, it's only Young Badgah and Nika doing the damage. Jungler looking for the right opportunity. Oh, he's able to get some good damage. I love what he did. He sashed in, backed up immediately, ring toss to the booty, and back up.
Why are they backing?
I mean, they're pretty low. Let's all get healthy, push out like the waves, etc. Go for the Fire Giant. CaptainTwig is available. Zindurn is up. Oh, they all ulted together.
Choo-choo!
Yeah.
The train has left the station, boys. 5 members barreling through to the mid lane.
They're not even going
Zindurn
for
and
the Fire
Cherryo
Giant.
will meet them. Sorry, not Cherryo. CaptainTwig will meet them. And Twig realizes the transgressions he's making. They get hit by the ricochet. Zindurn ults him out of danger. No fear, no evil fired off. Juggler under a little pressure here. Juggler could fall down, but Twig has to disengage, as does Zindurn. Leftovers going to look for the taunt onto Zindurn and the pressure too. The Phoenix in middle lane falls, and Leftovers going to defeat Hungry for More after 64 minutes. It looks like they can. No ultimate available for CaptainTwig here to defend. He gets bursted. Zindurn going to fall down very low. Finally, we have a result. Tom Clancy. You called it.
I'm so happy. I'm so happy for especially Hungry for More, and I'm happy for Leftovers to finally get rid of that game. And really,
that game.
When we talk about the initiation factor out of Leftovers being able to come back in the game, we talk about Young Badgah.
Yeah. We really do. Badgah had a very good day for himself. So look at the first blood at the beginning of that game, all the way back 60-odd minutes ago, I believe. Was it 60 minutes?
It was like 64 minutes.
It felt forever.
Yeah.
That's 2 games you've had now. Let's have a little look at this. It's actually Jungler in the jungle here, going aggressive with the support of his team. Obviously, Badgah in there. Cherryo gets credit for it, but this is a good fight overall between these boys. It was around this game went back and forth, but that was the first 2 kills of the game at the beginning, where it was an engagement that just didn't work out well for them.
Yeah, and it's really the biggest thing has been so back and forth. Each engagement, it's exactly like the cast yesterday. It was LG versus enemy, and the biggest thing was you take one person from our team, and then like the other team takes the other player.
Badgah gets player of the game for that one. Some big taunts on there. Obviously, the leader of his team, Leftovers, as well. Had a good performance for himself and the boys. His taunts were relatively on point. He was keeping them busy more than anything else. Especially when, let's be fair, we said Nika struggled in the early mid stages. Late game, he got some good ults off, though, but Badgah was there all game.
It looked like Nika regained his composures by the end of mid game going into late game, and really young Badgah's been a force to be reckoned with all game. Fnatic's old support, being able to help junglers stay alive in a lot of these team fights, getting taunts that are needed, and especially being the major initiation of this lineup, of this high execution lineup, he was so important. He was absolutely one of the most important members of the team to make sure he can get the taunts needed to set people up.
And this was only game one as well. I mean, for a 64-minute game to have a support only die once is an impressive feat.
Well, yeah, especially young Badgah, his positioning, his awareness, and his presence of mind has always been outstanding, and it really showed this game as he's able to help carry his team to victory.
So when we look through the game as a whole, what we really see is Hungry for More and Leftovers both had a very good performance throughout the whole of the game. Late game, they both struggle with decision making and miscommunication and
these are new teams, right? Like, it's not like these guys. A lot of these guys are kind of like straight in from other teams, whether they kicked or replaced or whatever the case may be, right? And the biggest thing is they're trying to get all together, get all on the same page, and work together. And it's the first week, it's going to be a little bit rocky. And
it's going to be rocky the first week, but this is what we normally do. Is after game one, you go, okay, so what did the other team do wrong, or what do they need to do differently, right?
Yes.
But what do you do for game two? What's the big change? That
Download. You see what people's tendencies are. Like, for example, Hungry for More. AoE team comp, we have easily a better early game, right? Like, if I'm Leftovers, I'm like, all right, we have the better early game. We abuse that even harder this time around, and then we go for an easier execution mid to late game. Pick up on, like, for example, Nika. The Bellona wasn't too hot, fam. How about we get you some tier? And then you just go from there.
Let's find out if they take tier for game two. We'll take a very short break, guys, as those teams get themselves ready. So will we, just in case it's another 60-minute special.